Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you guys to tonight's Freedom Team call. And I also want to welcome Francesca Fields and some of her team that may be joining us. Francesca is a brand new Emerald Ambassador that's going to speak to us in just a little while. For any of you that don't know me, my name is Jimi Nitso, and I'm a Senior Ruby Ambassador out of Payson, Arizona. Tammy asked me to host the call tonight and told me to just talk about whatever's kind of on my heart. So I gave that some thought, and I thought about the fact that this month we've got the big incentive for ranking up to gold as well as silver. I'm sure that you guys all know what that is, that essentially the bonuses are doubled and you can also re-rank to gold, which is pretty amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of how I got to gold, and then some struggles, okay, and why my team struggled from there. So I got to gold fairly quick. The duplication happened, and that's what we teach when you start. We teach the power of 3. Makes it very, very simple, okay? I honestly didn't even really know what I was doing. I accidentally, I kind of accidentally ranked to silver, and I was silver for an entire week before I realized it. It was back in the day when we got those paper paychecks, and it came on my paycheck and said Silver Ambassador, and I had to ask somebody like what that meant. And then before I knew it, I was gold, and I didn't really understand what gold was. And that's because, fortunately, when I signed my first ambassador, that first ambassador was looking for a business. She wanted a business, and she took off and ran with it, along with a few other people that I signed. And that's the easy way to make it happen. But where I feel like because of this, I failed my team a little bit, was I had some people that it didn't happen that easy for them. They didn't get that runner, that business builder, that rock star, like right off the bat. And I didn't know how to really properly support them with this and like guide them through that. So I kind of want to talk about what happens if you don't get your runner, your business builder right away. Something that I've learned, I watched a Tara Castaneda video where she talked about getting to gold. And something that she said in there is sometimes you have to carry yourself to gold. You have to do the heavy lifting. And I recently had an ambassador that did that. And I learned so much from her through the process. She was just very, very coachable. And I'm going to have her talk here in a few minutes. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes a little bit. So something to realize is you're signing people up. Not everybody is going to want the business, okay? Some that say that they want the business, they're not going to do anything. And then you'll have those others that don't want the business and they surprise you and they do something. It's just, it's the way that it goes, okay? So sometimes you don't get that business builder right away. And then even those wholesale ambassadors, you know, they don't always stick with the products. Yeah, hopefully they will, but they don't always. So let me look at my notes here, sorry. What you need to do is, yes, you start by getting your 3, but don't stop and get discouraged after you get those 3 and think, well, they didn't do anything. Like this isn't working. That's not the case. You need to go out and get another 3 and get another 3 and just keep going until you get there, until you find that rock star. Dusty Duncan and Tammy Elmore. Hold on. Can you guys hear me okay? Sheila, can you hear me okay? Okay, I had something pop up on the screen. Okay, thank you. Dusty Duncan and Tammy Elmore at one point gave me this bathtub analogy of, you know, when you're losing people, that it's kind of like you're trying to fill up a bathtub. and the water's draining out because you don't have the stopper in it. And so like your job is to fill that bathtub out, fill the bathtub up faster than it's draining out. That really, really hit home with me at a certain point in my journey, which was kind of later on, and I'll go into that a little bit here, but not right now. But it's essential for trying to get to gold as well if you have not found that business builder yet. What you need to do is, number one, when you have somebody that you've signed up or just somebody on your team or whatever, and they quit on you, yeah, take your moment, feel bad about it just for a moment, okay? Then you have to get over it and you have to keep going. You cannot let that slow you down. You've just got to keep going. I heard this over and over and over in the beginning as I lost some people. And it was hard to swallow. But with time, it's gotten easier, and I just kind of let it roll off of me. A big reason why is you will find out in time that just because they leave doesn't mean that they're gone forever. They are likely to come back down the road. And they, like right now is just, it's not their time. It has to be in their timing. I've actually seen people come back, you know, they quit the products or whatever, and then they come back and they get back on the products. They do great. They work the business. So don't ever count anybody out. To find that rock star, you need to look in the mirror and you need to be that rock star. You need to be what you are trying to attract. Your team, whether they're working the business or not, they need to see you putting the effort in. They need to see you leading by example. They need to see you recruiting. They need to see you going silver every month. And in order to do that, you have to build some belief in yourself. I know one key thing for me lately that I've really, really noticed is I am a lot more confident about talking about the business. And so I'm signing more people that are wanting to work the business than I did before. And I think maybe that's where some people get stuck, is they don't have that belief in themselves and they don't talk about the business enough. So that is a key part. Also setting those affirmations, saying your affirmations every day, loud and proud, setting your goals and making a plan to make that happen. That has been huge for me. Now, one thing before I bring Dana on that I want to mention to you guys is Julia Carty. She is a diamond ambassador, and it was her 43rd ambassador that she signed that was her first diamond ambassador. Can you guys imagine if she had quit before she got to number 43? That person's life would not be drastically changed, along with all the lives that she changed along the way. And neither would Julia's. She would have just given up and not had what she has today. So just never, ever give up. I mean, really think long and hard why you're doing this, what it means to you, and think, does it mean enough to you to carry yourself there if that's what it takes? I mean, hopefully you'll get the duplication before then, but if you don't, if you want it bad enough, you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. So I'm going to bring Dana on. Dana is one of my level 1 ambassadors, and she's really, really good at recruiting. She goes silver or double silver every month. If she hasn't gotten anything all month long, she'll sign 3-4 people at the end of the month. She recently reached gold in June. And I'm going to let her tell her story and tell you guys what it took for her to get gold, because everything that I just said, she is a prime example of. And a huge reason why she was able to do it is she was coachable and she learned to believe in herself. Dana, can you unmute yourself?
Hey team. I'm Dana Story, and I'm a gold ambassador. And let me tell you a little bit about my background so you guys kind of have an idea. I was diagnosed with a chronic illness uh, that affects my brain and my spinal cord, and that was in 2004. And it just progressively had gotten worse and worse through the years. Um, and it had progressed to the point that I had kind of lost my hope and certainly my quality of life. I was bedridden. I suffered with extreme discomfort, muscle spasms, body aches, chronic fatigue, memory loss. I had walking problems. I was using a cane sometimes just to walk. I had severe irregularity. I mean, I was using 3 to 4 laxatives a night, and with no void, may I add. And I was taking a ton of prescriptions. And so, not only that, but as a cook and a mother and a wife, um, I had somebody coming in making my family meals. That's how it had progressed. And I had saw a post, of course, Facebook post, and Jimi had mentioned something about fatigue and not feeling good or how she used to feel, and I could relate to everything that she was saying. So she picked up on it. I mentioned a couple of things and how I could relate to her, and she picked up on that. And she reached out to me several times. I think the first time I said no. The second time I said, no, not right now. And then I told her it wasn't in the budget another time. But she kept following up with me, guys. What would my life look like now? I don't even want to think of where I'd be today had not been for her persistence and follow-up. So I finally said yes. I would give it a try. And the only reason that I wanted to try Plexus at the beginning was for weight loss. You know, I can't believe that that's the only reason why I really wanted to try it. But I did. Praise God. There's grace and mercy because my life's totally changed with Plexus. So within 3 days, my husband started noticing she has more energy. She's up at night. I began to have regular voids. My symptoms were decreasing. Some of them were going away. I began losing weight in inches. And I have to tell you, as of today, I'm off 22 prescription pills a day. So, and I don't want to dog the doctors or anything like that, because I was seeing some really good doctors, specialists. But I was so symptomatic that they were just giving me prescriptions to take care of the symptoms that I was having. So I was on almost 30 prescriptions a day with this illness. So, so thank goodness I ranked gold in June. And, but honestly, you guys, attrition happens to all of us, right? I mean, it's like you're constantly trying to fill that bathtub up. And sometimes it seems like it's, when is this going to happen? When am I going to rank up? I just want you guys to know that I signed 40 level 1 ambassadors before I got one business builder. So I had 40 level 1 ambassadors. Attrition happens, right? It would happen. I would get down and then I'd get back up. Hey, I'm not going to let this keep me down, right? When you have a belief in something, and that's one thing I really wanted to share and emphasize, is you have to be a product of the product. I know you guys have heard this many, many times, but you really have to be a product of the product. You have to have a belief in the product, in Plexus, and share it. Share it with other people. Share hope with other people. Another thing I think you need is a mentor. You really, really need somebody that's going to help you, that's going to teach you, that's going to make an impact on your growth so that you can grow and that you can see your dreams and have a vision. Another thing that I encourage is weekly coaching calls. You should be having a weekly coaching call with your upline. I do that with Jimi every week. Every Friday morning, we have a coaching call. I don't literally think that I'd be where I'm at without those coaching calls, because it's accountability and somebody's got your back, you know. And then you should also have a coaching call with your runner. I have one runner, so I desire to have those coaching calls with that runner. But at least I have a runner, right? So, and another thing is that I encourage, not only are the coaching calls, but also doing events. Events are so important. I actually do PJ events each week. So Kirsten Flummerfelt and I do a PJ party each week where we work on invites and messaging people, getting invites for our party each week. If you guys have somebody that's interested in Plexus, if your team is not having a PJ party, if you'd like to join us, you're more than welcome. You can message her or I, and we would love to have you on our PJ party. And just feel free. Know that that's available to you. It's Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Arizona time. So, but yeah, we'd love to have you on there. So PJ parties, have sip and sees, do business launch parties, whatever you can to share Plexus. That's how you're gonna get those ambassadors. Most people that do a PJ party, they love Plexus and they want to know how they can get started. So I know that those have been a great success for us. Also, daily IPAs. I really am very consistent with my IPAs. I reach out to new people each day. I'm friending people on Facebook. And you can be selective with who you friend on Facebook. That's okay. But I think one of the main things to do is be consistent with your posting. Even if you're not getting likes and loves, people are watching you. They're watching you from a distance, I promise you. I would think probably at least 50% of my team I didn't know before social media. So I knew them in some way or fashion through Facebook or social media. So that's pretty neat. And I remember when Jimi said, you need to post on Facebook. I'm like, no, I mean, I was terrified I'm like, who's going to be interested in what I have to say on Facebook? I didn't see the vision. Now I see it. I see the importance of it. So post on Facebook daily. Do those IPAs, do those events. And one of the things I like to do is I like to private message people their happy birthdays. And because it gets my name out, they see my name, they see a happy birthday. It's not just a post on Facebook where I'm going to be a number and they're not going to remember my name. It's in Messenger. And I like that. I like that it gets my name out there. And what I like to do is I'll friend them on Facebook and comment on posts, and then I'll tag their name in the response. Like if I comment on the post, I'll tag them in that comment, because it gets our feeds together somehow, however Facebook works. That's one thing I did learn. So if I can pass that on to you guys, maybe you can do that same thing. Another thing is to have a follow-up tool. Personally, I use building mymlm.com, and that works for me. So let's say what I do is I friend somebody on Facebook, and then I'll follow them. I'll add them to my business, or my building my MLM. I'll add them to that, and I'll do like a 4-week follow-up with them. In the meantime, what I'm trying to do is create a relationship with them. They see Dana's story. They, somehow they see my posts. So get yourself out there, do the follow-up. It's so important. What if Jimi had not followed up with me? she followed up with me four times. I finally said yes on the fourth time. So do the ML or do some sort of a follow-up tool, whatever that looks like. It works different for everybody. For me, I like the building my MLM. So, and then I'll do like a 4-week follow-up with them, whether that's a message, have you heard of Plexus? And this is what it's done for me. Or if it's a PJ invite or whatever that looks like. I try to do a cold message. Have you heard of Plexus message? And then I'll follow up with an invite, a PJ invite. And I usually get really good response from that. Another thing I wanted to say is, this is a great idea too, is to post your team events on community boards. I know so many people don't utilize community boards, but post those 7-day challenges, post those PJ parties. People are interested. They may not comment on the community board, but I've gotten just this week, and I posted just one time, I've gotten 2 people that have responded to the 7-day Slim Challenge. So off of a community board. And they said, I don't want to comment online, but I wanted to reach out to you. So I guess the moral of the story, guys, follow up. I seriously cannot imagine where I'd be today if it wasn't for Jimi, for the Lord's grace and mercy, and for Plexus. And I thank you.
Thank you, Dana. I want to tell you guys, if you feel like you're stuck at any rank, whether it's old or any other rank, listen and look at what she has done. I mean, 40 level 1 ambassadors before she got her business builder. If she can do it, any of us can do it, plain and simple. And it's because she was coachable. She did what she was told. She took her moment, got over the disappointments, and kept going. She never, ever slowed down with this, and that's why she is where she is right now. So I am so super proud of you, Dana. She could have easily been one of those people that got like halfway there and then just quit altogether because, it just wasn't going fast enough for her. Or backed off and let her team die and then, have to restart building over again. I hate, it breaks my heart to see that happen to people and see all that hard work go down the drain. So I'm so thankful that she just pushed through and she did it. You are amazing, Dana. So I want to kind of tell you just a little bit about something about myself and something that I read in a book today. For the longest time for me, I heard people talk about the roller coaster ride, how it's up and down, right? I honestly didn't really feel like I was on a roller coaster ride. I wasn't going super fast with this or anything, but nothing was bad. It just felt like I was constantly, gradually increasing, sometimes faster than others. I just never felt down until almost a year ago. I had some really bad stuff happen within my organization at Senior Ruby, and I lost a big chunk of my team. Looking back on that, did it suck? Yes, it totally sucked, but it taught me a lot. I feel like I'm a better leader now because I can understand when somebody's kind of down in the dumps and needs me to pull them up. I get that better than I got that before. So we've worked really, really hard to build back up, and we're increasing the momentum, starting back up. So it's pretty exciting to get back there. So I'm reading Joel Osteen, You Can, You Will. And it's funny, every time I open this book, it just gives me something that I need or something that somebody else needs, on the page that I'm on. It's kind of crazy. And that happened today, and I just totally thought of this call. So just real quick, I'm going to read through this for you guys. Some people would love to have your problems. They would gladly trade places with you. They would love to have the job that frustrates you. They would love to sit in traffic in the car you don't like. They would love to have your husband who gets on your nerves. They would love to live in the house you think is too small. You may be thinking, as soon as I get out of this neighborhood, then I'm going to be happy. Instead, why don't you choose? Can you guys hear me okay? Dana, can you hear me okay? Okay, I was just making sure. I saw your head down. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. You may be thinking, as soon as I get out of this neighborhood, then I'm going to be happy. Instead, why don't you choose to be happy right where you are? Choose to have an attitude without thinking about what you have or don't have. Your happiness is all about your approach to life. One man gets up and says, "Good morning, Lord." Another man gets up and says, "Oh, Lord, it's morning." Which person are you? You control what kind of day you are having. You are happy as you want to be. It's not your circumstances that keep you unhappy. It's how you respond to them. So any struggles that any of us are having is completely how we respond to them, guys. I probably could have really used reading this book about 6 months ago and wish I had. I think about it, and yeah, being stuck at Senior Ruby, it's really not a bad place to stuck. Yeah, I want to get to Emerald, but it is not a bad place to be stuck. Even if it's lower than that, even if you're like not even silver yet, you know what you have? You have some amazing products that are likely changing your life. So be thankful for that. Learn to believe in yourself. And like I said, I know you can do it. Okay, so through the process, probably at my lowest point in this, my team falling apart there, I got involved in a group with a bunch of senior rubies. And it's been an amazing group. It's actually just a little chat thread. We help each other. We love on each other. We cheer each other on. When we have a question or need something, or what message do you send to this person for this or that, we'll ask on that. And there's always somebody there giving us the answer, giving us the help. Okay. I contributed a lot to the fact that this last month I've got 100% success rate on my team for convenience orders. It was with their help that happened. So one of the really, really neat things about this chat thread is we've had a lot of senior rubies since May that have hit Emerald. And it's such a positive thread. You don't ever feel like, oh, I wish it was me. You're happy for them. You're cheering them on. You're like literally praying for them. And it's so motivating to see their countdown. Like, I need 29 more points type of thing. Anyways, at the end of July, I believe it was July 30th. She can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it was like really close to the deadline there. One senior ruby on this chat thread, her name is Francesca Fields. She hit Emerald right in time to go to Hawaii. I've got goosebumps right now talking about it. It was just incredible. And I've learned a little bit more about her journey, which fit very well into this call because we're kind of talking about struggles and believing in yourself and what can happen. And what she has told me, it definitely motivates me and gives me even more belief that I can do this and I can get there. Francesca, if you haven't unmuted yourself, can you do so? And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hey, y'all. My name is Francesca Fields, and I am an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus. I apologize up front. I had an opportunity yesterday to make a kind of last-minute trip to Florida, so I'm here along with my kids. I've got a 1.5-year-old and a 3.5-year-old, and it's like nearing 10 o'clock, and I thought that my 1.5-year-old was going to sleep. And I was like, yes. And then I feel like little fingers in my eyes and up my nose. And so she is awake. I've got the TV on, hoping she will stay quiet. So I apologize. This was very unexpected. I also forgot all my makeup. So sorry about that. I'll probably regret this when the recording is posted. Anyways, my name's Francesca, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about my story, because I was stuck, I felt like, for a really, really long time. And it's not fun. So I'm going to tell you kind of like how I got into Plexus, where I got stuck, and what I did to get unstuck. So I started Plexus in January of 2015. I just had my first baby. She was about a year old. I had really judged my sister-in-law, who had been selling Plexus for about 6 months. I thought, like, oh my gosh, diet pills, like get skinny quick, it's a pyramid scheme, all these things I thought about Plexus. And meanwhile, I am really suffering with really intense sugar cravings, postpartum sadness. I had a lot of issues with feeling really, 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 really down after I had my baby. I had high cholesterol since I was 20, and I've always been under 110 pounds my whole life. Like, I'm just a really petite, small girl, but I treated my body like you know what, and my lab results showed that. I felt bad. I woke up multiple times a night. I never felt rested. I had brain fog like you wouldn't believe. I quit my job to stay at home with my little girl. I was a social worker. And quit my job to stay at home with her. And we really took a hit financially doing that, which I wouldn't have changed it for the world. But I had all of this guilt. If you're a mom, you know the mom guilt. We feel guilty about anything. I had all of this guilt because I wanted to stay at home with her. I quit my job, and then I literally would stay in my pajamas all day and like put her on the ground next to the TV so I could lay on the couch. And just the shame and the guilt that came with that, just not even having the energy to get out and do stuff with her after getting to stay at home. And so the turning point came when I went to my doctor. It was like an annual checkup. She was almost a year old. I think she was 11 months at the time. I was 28 years old, and the doctor said, okay, well, your cholesterol is still high. You've got 3 months to bring it down, or we're going to start to manage it with medication. I was a breastfeeding mom. I was planning on having more kids, and the last thing I wanted to do was be on a medication for the rest of my life. Didn't like the side effects. I didn't like the implications. And quite frankly, it's not genetic in my case. It was literally how I was treating my body. And so I wanted to try in some way to get it down. But I was kind of hopeless about it because I had tried before, because I had been struggling with this for 8 years. And I couldn't change my eating habits. I drank tons of sodas. I ate dessert probably after every meal. And I couldn't figure out how to change that. So my sister-in-law convinced me to try Plexus. I was not going to work the business. Like, hear me loud and clear. I was not going to work the business and be one of those people that I avoided and blocked and unfollowed and all those different things. But I really felt like the Lord was telling me to act on faith. And a big part of my story, I don't know where y'all sit with this, but a big part of my story is really just about being obedient to God in my case, because there was a bunch of stuff that my pride did not want to let me do, or my fear. I had a lot of fear holding me back of who's gonna unfollow me, who's gonna defriend me, who's gonna talk about me behind my back, who's gonna say no to my face, who's gonna make fun of me, all these different things. I was so scared. But something in me told me to act in spite of. And so that's kind of what I started doing. I started making little baby steps. I started posting on Facebook. My results were awesome. My cholesterol lowered within 2 months. I stopped drinking sodas every day. I started sleeping. That sadness lifted. I lost the rest of my baby weight. Just a ton of great stuff happened to me. And so I had a really great story. I started posting on Facebook, and I was one of those lucky people that kind of got a bunch of response just from posting on Facebook. Okay, you turned it off, babe. I'm talking to people. Sorry. Talking to people. So I had a lot of people coming to me from just posting on Facebook, and so I was not going to cold message ever, ever, ever. But I was getting, I was making a nice paycheck. I had a ton of customers. I mean, my PV was in the 3,000s most of the time when I first started. But you can't ride. I mean, that's great at first, but you can't ride that wave for very long. And so kind of my story is I joined in January of 2015. It took me 2 months to go silver. I went silver in March of 2015. I went gold in July of 2015. I went senior gold in February of 2016, and I was stuck at senior gold for about 8 months. I didn't go ruby until that double, what was it, like October last year, that double where they doubled everybody's bonuses. And so I went ruby in October, did a big push for that, and then senior ruby in May of this year and emerald in July. So I was stuck at senior gold for 8 months, could not seem to get those 250 points I needed to get to ruby, just for the life of me. And then I went senior ruby in May and got doubled that in 2 months to go emerald in July. So I kind of want to talk to you about, there was a big mindset shift that happened for me. And so I got to gold mostly myself. I have always been pretty okay at recruiting, and a lot of that was because people are reaching out to me. Gold to senior gold was really, really hard, and senior gold to ruby was really, really hard. And I spent a lot of time thinking about how stuck I felt, how this wasn't going anywhere, how nobody wanted to work the business. Do you know what I'm saying? Like complaining and just being negative in my mind for all the time. I can't even tell you how many conversations I had with my upline about how stuck I was. It was infuriating for me. And at one point, literally just like asking the Lord, like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Why am I in this business? Like, I'm not going anywhere. And it was just like I had this kind of epiphany, I guess. I don't know. It just became very clear to me that there was things that I needed to work on. I got this intense motivation to start looking up different training videos on leadership. So something in me was saying, like, you really need to focus on being a leader, because I was spending a lot of time trying to get those people that weren't really motivated. I think that was like my number one question to diamonds or jewel panels, like, how do you motivate these people? And the answer is, you guys, you can't motivate everybody. Not everybody wants to be motivated. Just because you signed up an ambassador on your team doesn't mean they're your next rock star. It really became clear to me that I was going to have to be my rock star. I was going to have to be that person that I wanted on my team. And so thus I started my journey to that. I think I can't remember exactly when that was. It was at some point of being very stuck at senior gold that I started this. I know last year in April, I watched an Emily Roberts video because I went on this kick of like really YouTubing and watching a bunch of Plexus leader videos. And I did a lot of reading on leadership, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership in the workbook, what to say when you talk to yourself. Because if you're saying things to yourself, like really stop and think, grab those thoughts. How are you talking to yourself? Are you saying like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to find that rock star. I'll never be successful. If you are painting that reality for yourself. I was doing that for so long. You have to grab those negative thoughts and you have to turn them around. I don't know, you probably won't be able to see it, but I keep affirmations on my phone. I don't know if you can see it. I make little backgrounds and keep them on there. So every time I open my phone, this one was for my my emerald push. So I keep affirmations on my phone. You've got to grab those negative thoughts. Anytime you're thinking those things, stop them in their tracks and turn them into something positive. My team is on fire. We have unstoppable momentum. I'm a recruiting machine. I will be an Emerald ambassador mine was July. Can't even believe it. Whatever your goal is or whatever your next goal is, start speaking truth. Start speaking that into existence. You have to teach your team to do the same thing. So I started doing all of this stuff. I remember watching this Emily Roberts video and it really clicked. Like, I am like, if we're going to be honest, very transparent and vulnerable here, I was telling my team to do stuff that I was not willing to do. I was telling my team to do 5-3-1, and I was honestly not willing to do it. I was not reaching out to 5 new people a day. I was scared, less of cold messaging people, but I was telling them, hey, reach out. And they can sense that I'm not reaching out. And so it light bulb, ding, 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 like went off in my head. I was like, if I really want to get anywhere with this, I'm going to have to start doing these things that I am telling them to do and am not willing to do. And so what I started to do was, I don't know if I have it right here, but I do. I started, it was in April, I think. I downloaded my friends list on Facebook. You can YouTube it. It'll show you how to do it. I downloaded my friends list onto an Excel file, and there's my friends list, okay? And then I got a blank calendar. This isn't blank anymore, but if you can see it, I downloaded a blank calendar and printed it off and started going through my Facebook list and wrote down 5 names on each day. And I said to myself, I will message 5 people a night. So when I went to bed at night, I got out my calendar. I saw the 5 names on there. Come hell or high water, these people are being messaged by me. I made a little tiny short. I really like short messages, cold messages. Made a short little cold message to send to people. I ran it by a few non-Plexus people to get objective opinions on it to make sure that it was inviting and open. And it was something kind of like, hey girl, I love seeing your posts on Facebook. I'm sure you've seen my Plexus posts and how much I love these products. I'm really trying to spread the love. Would you like some information or a sample? Literally, that was it. I would send that off to 5 people a day. I come hell or high water, that's what I did. I got a lot of people ignoring me. I got a lot of people saying no, but I also got a lot of people wanting information. And that's kind of what started the ball rolling. I also started expanding my network on Facebook. So I started joining, for me, it's mom groups. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've got a 1.5 and a 3.5-year-old, and I started joining mom groups and getting really, really involved and making a lot of friends off of that. And I started using garage sale sites on Facebook to really expand my network too. And being really diligent about friending mutual friends of friends, like literally going through a friends list. This sounds so stalkerish, saying it out loud, but I would go through a friends list on Facebook and think, who do I have mutual friends with? If I had 2 or 3 or more mutual friends with them, I would literally friend request them. I just got this notification on my Facebook yesterday, I think, that said you've made 800 new friends this year, and it's July. I started Plexus with 400 friends, and I've got, I think, over 2,200 now because I'm constantly expanding my network. I love everything Dana said because that's so practical, and that's exactly what I've done as far as commenting on people's posts, saying happy birthday, being really diligent about building those relationships with non-Plexus people. If I'm seeing too many Plexus people on my newsfeed, I start a new distribution list for non-Plexus people. I go to that and I start commenting on people so that I start showing up in their newsfeed. This really started to get the ball rolling for me. I spent a lot of time in prayer. If that's something that you do, just really spending a lot of time in prayer, fighting off those lies that I feel like we're told, those negative things that we tell ourselves. I started really focusing on talking about the business and giving most of my time to the people who not only said they wanted to work the business, but showed action in working the business. And I really had to let go of that thought of trying to get everybody to be my runner, because that was just wasting time. Stop it, Winnie. Oh my gosh, y'all. It's like 10 o'clock. She's delirious now. Come here. We're talking to people. Here's Winnie. So talking about the business, I started posting a lot about the business, which I was kind of scared to do at first because I didn't want people to think I was salesy. There was another lie. And I started getting some real business builders. When that double incentive thing came on for October of last year, honestly, you guys, I thought in my head, I'm done being stuck. I'm done. I'm tired of being stuck. I'm not going to be stuck anymore, and I'm going to make this happen for myself. Since then, and since January, I have recruited at least 10 to 20 people every month, level ones. I signed up my husband last month, and he fast-tracked gold the same month that I went Emerald, because I constantly am expanding my network. I've got those positive affirmations going. I'm utilizing different groups. So I've got team all around the US now, because I'm doing these Facebook groups and getting really involved with those. And the other thing I want to say that I didn't talk about, I'm a little bit scattered, is I was kind of hiding under the wing of my uplines, and not like they are wonderful and amazing, but I really felt this calling to come into my own as a leader, and that hence all of the leadership training that I did. And I was senior gold when I was doing this. You don't have to be an emerald or a senior ruby or a sapphire or diamond or whatever to really be a leader. I was senior gold when I started doing this, and I had this desire to really create this certain team culture. And so I set out to do that. And I was really intentional about it. So when it came time, I kind of knew and we have a wonderful Facebook team page. We do a lot of positive call outs, like, hey, so-and-so got their first preferred customer. And it's just a very positive, loving family environment, I guess you could say. And we all lift each other up and encourage each other. I've got a leaders thread where I kind of can communicate with my leaders. We love doing, I think you call them PJ parties. We love doing Facebook events, at least one a month. We're doing a lot of 7-day trial groups, tons of different things that just help people get people interested to help grow their team. So when it was time for me to push for Emerald in July, I knew that I wanted to do it in May or June. And I felt this intense, okay, this is happening. This is happening for me this year. I was at convention. That's when it happened. I was like, I'm done being stuck. I don't want to be stuck at Senior Ruby for however many months. I want to go to Hawaii this year. And it just felt like it was right. The first thing I did, you guys, was got my leaders on board. They all were on board to help me push for Emeralds. We had a ton of rank ups, but I truly believe that this is because I set that foundation senior gold, of just being a really positive, encouraging, supportive leader because of all that leadership training that I had done. I really think it set the stage for that to be possible, for them to help me push to that level. Trying to think if I missed anything. Jimmy, I know you heard my story the other day. Is there anything that you heard me talk about that you want me to touch on right now? Because
I don't think so. I think you got it. It's like, wow. Yeah, you became your own rock star. That's why you are where you are. You attract.
Yes. And I can tie it back to that IPA. Having this calendar of people to reach out to, follow up is extremely important. Doing all of this stuff that you're telling your team to do, you have to be doing that. Phone calls, 3-way messages, 3-way calls, lunch dates, all of those things that freaked me out. And I didn't want to do them, but I was telling everybody else to do them. I had to start doing those things. And my team changed because my team saw me recruiting the most people every month or whatever, not it's a competition, but they saw me in action, and it really motivated them to take the same kind of action. So, I don't know what else.
No, that was perfect. That was awesome. And you actually just reminded me of one thing about Dana that I forgot. In June, in May, she got her runner. In June, Dana signed 3 ambassadors within 3 days, and then her runner turned around and signed Dana, 3 ambassadors in 5 days? It was just leading by example, setting that example. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. Very, very awesome. So thank you so much for taking the time and doing this, even with your kiddos there. I really appreciate it.
Sorry, y'all. We even tried to coordinate this so that wouldn't happen, and then of course it happened.
It
Sorry
happens.
about
It happens. I had stuff happen today too, but I think we pulled it off. You were amazing. I want you guys to just, especially if you are in a place where you feel like you're stuck, I mean, just think about everything that she just said, everything that Dana just said. And like I said, go look in the mirror and be a rock star. Believe in yourself. Say those affirmations. One last thing really quick is our teams are doing a ton of events. Make sure that you're utilizing them. The Freedom Team has an online opportunity event Thursday night, and I believe it's at 8 p.m. Central. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Get out there. Use that to, talk to your follow-ups. That's what I usually use it for. Anyone that you just really want to reach out to for Plexus. If you're brand new, you feel like you don't have all the answers, that's a great way for them to get their answers right there. So, okay, we've kind of gone long on this, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Thank you so much, Francesca, for doing this for us. And you too, Dana. I really appreciate it. You guys have a great night.